Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. This is going to be a very different Answer the Call because for the first time in a long time, I had a great time playing Star Citizen. I played for 6 hours and without really any bugs or any problems, and or I guess 5 hours, and it was really a great experience. And I think that video will end up on this channel at some point. It's going to take some time to edit, though, I think. But as you can see, the topic is the culture of combat logging in Star Citizen, okay? And how I am kind of viewing this is we're in a place where they're going to do the thing that they do, where they're going to say, we are very close to persistence and PES, which is planned for 3.18, and we're not going to do anything in the game to fix the obvious problems that people are having. This all comes from, just to give you a little background on this, I reacted to a video from Captain Burks where there was piracy opportunities in Star Citizen that were very good. When cargo haulers were making a lot of money, pirates tried to pirate them, and players just logged. And there was nothing that anybody can do to stop them, right? And I titled this The Culture of Combat Logging in Star Citizen because I want to talk about something first. Why is this happening so consistently? Why is everybody doing it? Well, first off, most creators are letting people know that it's even a thing and that it's possible. Two, the reason they're doing it is because they directly know that if they do it, you will get nothing, right? And the idea behind them doing what every other game does that has combat, right, is that if you're engaged in combat, if somebody engaged you in combat, if you're near somebody, whatever, there's a million different factors that games play into why or why not they may do something like a timer before you log out. I think DayZ is the best example of what Star Citizen kind of a comparison-wise, where in DayZ there's a timer in which it takes for you to log out every time, no matter what. And Star Citizen should be no different than that. Alt F4ing, same thing. Yeah, DayZ used to have this problem, and they still kind of do, from what I was explained, but not as bad as what we have now, right? If you down a player and they log out, their body disappears, right? Like, there's just so many of these scenarios where, why? So my guess is that they're going to do the thing that they do, where they're really close to PES, so they're not going to fix the problem that we're all looking for them to fix, okay? And I think what we're hearing is a lot. I'm hearing like a Captain Burks and a few other content creators like really, really complaining to the point where it's borderline like crying about it. And the problem with it is the only reason it's borderline crying is because of the timing of PES. So you know they're not going to do anything until they have persistence, because that should enable a lot of the things that are in the game. And I'll let you guys, clue you into something. This kind of came in my mind as a topic today for the podcast late last night. And I was going to message Burks, but I thought it was way too short of a time frame to be like, hey, can you come on the podcast? Because he's the one who really suffered from this, like really, really badly. And I think his perspective on the thing, especially if I'm saying like, hey, I think you're kind of crying a little bit, it's unfair to have this conversation without him here. But I think the culture comes from this. If you self-destruct or you log out, the person who's attacking you gets nothing. But in the future, with PES, if you're a cargo hauler especially, or a miner or anything like that, where you're being pirated by somebody, if you log out, your stuff should stay. They get everything. Does that culture immediately disappear? Because then the player knows that if I log out, they're going to get my stuff anyway, so I might as well fight back. Is there an immediate shift in the culture then? That would be my question. Just keep in mind, guys, I'm going to keep this very short, but if any of you want to discuss this with me in voice, you are more than welcome to come on, but I'm going to keep it very short because we're very late in the day. This is a 12:30 p.m. podcast instead of a 10 a.m. podcast. So, my wife and I were hungry. It's time to move on with our day. If you want to discuss this topic at all, I will bring you on, though, okay? I just have my concerns of sort of that they're going to wait for PES, and that the complaints about combat logging have always been there. I'll let you guys know that I complained to Luke Presley about it, and they definitely see the problem. CIG knows it's there. Why or why not they're prioritizing it is kind of the problem. And this is what I would say to a Burks. I saw Zero State talking about it. I saw other people. What I think we need to do as members of this community is demand why. Why was something like this not prioritized? It seems like a really big problem. Why does it seem like any PvP combat scenarios to make it better never prioritized? I don't want to say never, because we do definitely. What came from the PvP community is the desync fixed, right? We don't have that issue anymore, or at least not as much. So that came out of that. But where do we go from there? So again, if you guys want to join the call, you can join the Discord under the answer the call section. I think there's somebody there. Oh no, it's unmatched though. Here's the thing about unmatched, guys, is I said I wanted to keep this short. And it's not always short with unmatched, but I'm going to try it. We're going to try this, okay? Hey, can you hear me unmatched?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you think you can keep it short today?
Yeah, I could keep it short. I don't have much to talk about this.
Okay.
Too much to say.
I'm gonna try to get you on the TV. Okay, I'm trying something right now. We're gonna try and get you on the TV.
All right.
But yeah. So I don't. What do you have to? What are you thinking about it?
Well, this is not a problem that's specifically dedicated to Star Citizen. It happens in every game. Certain games they have penalties for it and stuff like that. You could get even CS:GO, you could get banned for leaving rated. You could get banned for like a week or 2 weeks for leaving rated battles or whatever. In old school RuneScape, the devs had to fix this. What players would do they would be in the wilderness where you could PvP, and what people would normally do is that if they can't immediately log out, they would start boxing an NPC, and they'll X out their client, and like after a few minutes it'll log them out because their client is X'd out. So they had to they personally fix this in RuneScape by if you have PvP around NPCs, they become passive aggressive. They become passive. So that was one way they fixed that from the combat logging in that game. But I think this problem it's gonna persist until they like have it to where you don't log out at all. If let's say you have like a logout timer or something like that, or if you're being engaged, your ship doesn't leave the game at all. But I think this is gonna be a problem. It's gonna be, you're gonna see posts. Oh, I have 2 hours a day to play. I don't want people fighting me. I don't want to have to fight people and stuff. You'll see a lot of posts like that.
Always.
Yeah, and I hope CIG doesn't bend to these people. I hope this is what I heard kind of damaged the Elite Dangerous community, where people didn't want to interact with other people. They just they just wanted to play the game, so they made a single player version and took
Well,
out the dangerous out of Elite Dangerous.
Apparently, Elite Dangerous had a big combat logging problem as well. So
Yeah,
even
yeah.
when there was PvP, people were combat logging, and
Yeah.
I think that I don't want to take it away from anything. Like, I know that this is a real problem. I just worry that we're gonna have to wait and see with persistence. And I think that what we need to do is just make sure that they know that this needs to be a priority with the PES thing, with the persistence thing, is make sure that it's one of those things that they are doing, and it's not one of the things that they're just going to ignore.
Yeah.
You know?
You just have to, they're gonna have to, like, either, I hope to God they don't bend. They're just gonna have to stand up to, like, these people that's, they're very very loud minority, and that's what devs don't see from the other games that did bend to these people that kind of ruined other games.
Yeah, just add a timer, dude.
Yeah, what these people really want is they want to play an MMO in single player version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
And I've met these type of people across many MMOs. And I'm not being elitist here. I'm not trying to be elitist here. I agree with you when you say you need a safe space where people can't be attacked, so they could show off their expensive stuff, because I felt that in other games myself too. Like when I used to play EVE Online, you couldn't run around in your most, shiniest things, even in safe space, because you have these idiots that log in and gank you for fun and don't use that account for like a year.
Yep.
So I'm not trying to be elitist. I just don't want to like go far on the other side of this, where they make Star Citizen an MMO where all you do is see other people, but you don't really interact with them.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some people mention that the part of the problem is that there's no consequence to death, and that they wanted death having a consequence. But the problem with that right now is that there is a lot of issues where you die that is not your fault.
Yeah,
you know? So they can't do that part yet. That's just too hard to do right now.
Yeah, they can't do that right now. But like my main concern is them bending to these people, because they have a way of showing themselves as like, if you're having fun in the game, you won't be complaining and be browsing the forums. But if you're like that small amount that like really don't want to be interacted with other people, they just want to run freight all day, they'll be on the forums crying about it because some dude blew them up, even though they knew the place that they went to is heavily a PvP area.
Well, and I mean, how about the fact that they probably had 15 successful runs without ever seeing anybody up to that point.
Yeah, they had 15 successful runs, and that one time, that one time out of like 20 times that they did that run, they met with somebody, they blew them all to hell, and now they're mad, raging on the forums that they lost their SCU of cargo when they've made millions.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's mostly what I have to say on the topic, though. I'm trying to keep it
that's fine.
Sure.
What do you think about the comment that I made about like the culture of it changing the moment that if they log out, everything that they have stays, so it's just a free ship to take at that point?
I totally agree with that. If you combat log, you should face penalties for doing that. There shouldn't be any running, if you're running expensive cargo in a dangerous place, you should have friends to back you up. You shouldn't be doing that by yourself. Again, that goes back to you try to be a solo player. You shouldn't try to be a solo player in an MMO. And
I don't agree with that. You can absolutely be a solo player in an MMO, but you shouldn't. But you shouldn't punish players for interacting with you. You shouldn't. Yeah, I think I know what you're trying to say.
You shouldn't try to hinder somebody that's doing what they want to do in the game. Like that, like being a pirate. That pirate has many more penalties than you.
Yeah.
And but he's just trying to play the game the way they want to play, and I don't want to be a pirate. If anything, I want to be an anti-pirate. But there's there has to be a side to every coin. You can't just be running back and forth all free willy nilly and have no consequences to it. There has to be some cost in doing that, and then some penalties, in not being successful at doing that. But if you're making like substantial profit, there should be some risks to it. Like if you die in PvE in a high level boss, in other games you have to pay a penalty just to get back your stuff. I know that for sure. In old school RuneScape, you have to pay 100,000 gold to get back your stuff if you die, and there should be consequences in the space game. I don't want it to turn out like in what I've heard a lot of people quit Elite Dangerous for. They took the dangerous out of Elite, Yeah. and and even I tried Elite myself, and it just feels lonely in there. Like the systems are, there's too many systems, and they made a game that was already lonely, even lonelier. So that's how I look at it. But
the only other thing that I think that they should do on top of like a timer is if you self-destruct your ship. I'm trying to think of a scenario where you self-destruct your ship and it is like a warranted workaround for a bug. I think that they're fairly rare, to the point where if you self-destruct your own ship, there should be pretty steep penalties to get it back as well.
Yes,
because I feel like one of the main reasons for self-destructing your ship is literally to prevent a pirate from getting it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. In the long term, that's how it's supposed. I think it's supposed to be PvP timers. Penalty for self-destruct, penalty for just to log out, even if you're not engaged right now. There should be a short timer. There's that in every game. There's a timer just to log out in World of Warcraft. There's one in RuneScape. There's one in EVE Online. There's a lot of, and they need that for Star Citizen too, just in case a lot of guys they're gonna have it to where as soon as they see somebody else, they're just gonna log right there if they make it instantaneously if they're not engaged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I totally agree with that. I'm a person that's for consequences for actions, whether it be good or bad. Even though I'm not a pirate, I don't plan on being a pirate. I plan on being a good guy fighter on a big team in the long term after I make a substantial amount of UEC when the game comes out. But in long term, yes, I believe fully there needs to be first of all, don't bend to the people that don't want to interact with other people, and number two, have steep penalties for combat logging, and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure.
All
right. Well, we'll let you go unmatched because again, I got to keep it short, but I appreciate you coming on. It's been a while.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Bye-bye. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to go up. I don't think just in the end, and this will be like the conclusion of this, I think the big thing here going forward is that if you want this to succeed, if you want this to be better, I think the way we need to go about it is this. I think we just have to go vehicle experience team, anybody who works on the PU, network guys, we have to ask. We just got to ask the question. What's going on with that? When can we get this prioritized? Are we waiting for PES? Is it going to be a part of PES? We have to ask them what's going on as far as this goes. And it needs to be a topic of conversation between them and us. That's how I look at it. It needs to be a topic of conversation that is between us and them and the players in the community. There just needs to be an open discussion about their plans for this and how kind of, I don't want to ask a when question, but how soon are you going to do this? Because we've been asking about it for a while. I've had some engagement back and forth with some Star Citizen devs about it, but nothing's happening. And I know that there's only so much time to prioritize only so many things, but we got to do something. We got to do something, right? And that's just where it comes down to it. Is we need to at the absolute bare minimum is they need to talk to us about it, and then after that it has to be action, and we'll see, because it's not a good experience for anybody. I don't think you're getting I don't think the player that's combat logging, that's not the experience they should be having, and because they need to kind of learn from mistakes and not make them, come prepared, all those sort of things, as you do when you go out into the deep black, right? That's like one of the allures of the Star Citizen universe is kind of how Wild West it is, and I don't know if everybody likes that, but that's kind of what it is. And then the last thing is you need to respect the fact that there's other players playing this game, and the game isn't only going to be played the way you want it to. It's going to be played sometimes the way you don't. It's going to be played the way sometimes somebody else wants to, because of places you went or decisions you made. But every decision you make should matter and should impact the game in a better way than what combat logging does, right? And yeah, I do agree. It goes both ways. There's consequences for a player having a crime stat, right? You can't land at certain places. You're found very easily. You end up going to jail if you're killed. But there's no consequences for the silly things that are happening to these other players, right? So that'll be it for the podcast. A very, very short one. I wanted to make sure I posted a video, though, today. I didn't want to go without it. But like I said earlier, I literally played for 5 hours straight and had the best experience I've ever had in Star Citizen. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit a like on this very short podcast. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. Yeah, I guess share this with Burks, and maybe we'll have a conversation at some point. Maybe I'll go on his stream or something, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have him on here, so I apologize to you guys that we're not getting both sides of the story, right? So I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Let me know what you thought about the music in the background, too. Was it distracting? Too loud, too light, too low? No good, good. It's no copyright, so there's no issues there, but just curious if you guys liked it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.